Let's have a conversation. And I think this is something that I notice a lot of people don't talk about. I don't see too many videos on this. When it talks about co-parenting, when the other person has a dude that's in play, a dude that's with them, that's staying there with your kid, around your kid, when you're not there. Or should I say, y'all separated, y'all not together no more, going through a divorce, which I am, and you are not around when they're not with you. Of course, if they're not with you, you're not there. But when they're with their mother, they're with the mother and the other person that she's gobbling down, whatnot. I want to talk about this because I think this is something that needs to be talked about. And I went through this morning. This is how situations with a lot of men things can get real violent. Violent enough where as though you can really lose your all. And it has nothing to do with the woman. It has everything to do with the child. A lot of times, like I hear a woman say, oh, but for your child, you don't operate a certain way. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, when it comes to a man and his kids and whatnot, he can lose his cool and end up doing something to the person that your ex-wife or girlfriend is with. All because they're operating as if they're the father. And they start doing things disrespectful. To the point where as though you feel, well, I'm going to say, has to be checked. One thing about men, I don't know why we live in a world where as though they think men could be punching bags. And we just turn around and walk away. One thing about a man, we will not walk away. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be hell to pay. It's either a life can be taken, somebody can end up in the ER, meaning the father or the other person. You never know. But at the end of the day, chaos is going to happen. We see it time after time after time, where as though you see people get to a point where as though they think it's cool to operate a certain way. You think you can get on the phone and disrespect the father because the mom is spreading lies. It's bare bone talk. That's all it is. It's bare bone talk. When you're not with that person, they will talk bad about you. I'm sorry, guys. This is the truth. They will. And sometimes you'll never find out what they said about you until somebody slip up and say something. When they slip up and say something, then that's when you start to be like, whoa, hold up. Wait a minute, what? That's when things spiral out of control. How about when you get a phone call, which I did, get a phone call from somebody, and then you get a message, email from the school that your son did not make it to school, but you just talked to your son last night, and you sitting there like, wait a minute, well, this morning, he normally calls me every morning. He didn't, so I end up calling him this morning. Nothing, nobody picked up. So you sit back and you say, you think it's just a regular day, until somebody calls you. And then you see a message from the school. Your child is not in today, which they give you the attendance thing, that they're not here, that they're absent today. And you sitting back like, wait a minute, hold up. I dropped them off. We in what? Well, it doesn't matter what day we are at. We in right now. But then when you look at that, you say, oh, hold up. And then the person that calls you say, yo, we've been trying to get in contact with such and such. So you like, huh? Now your alert goes up. Now it starts to feel like danger, because now you ready to like get active. But before you feel that way as a man, this is how men operate. I'm telling you, this is how men operate, because this is how I operate. Not to say all men operate the same, but guess what? We operate similar. One thing about men, when we get crazy and we both getting crazy, or it's multiple men getting crazy, it's about to be some chaos. It's going to be some tables turning, somebody going to be burning up somewhere, because that thing's going to get crazy. When you make the phone call, you're like, well, yo, they're not picking up for me. Now you like, hold up. Something's off. Next thing you know, you like, hold up. Before I operate from a sense of going into danger mode, let me do a couple things. Let me make a couple calls. Let me go ahead and send a couple text messages. I'm not going to say if they're threatening or not, but basically you're letting them know that if I don't get a FaceTime within less than a minute, so I'm showing up. That means I have to leave work and go ahead and see what's going on. All of a sudden, I get a FaceTime. Yes, I get a FaceTime. I not only get the FaceTime, but I get a FaceTime where my energy was so high and I'm so emotional. Don't get it twisted. Men get emotional. All this thing, men don't get emotional. Yes, we do. That's how we end up taking lives. Once we get emotional and we feel as though we at the whip's end of no return, things are going to happen. We can't turn it on and off. It's not how men are. That's why we always go to war. When my son gets on the phone, but this is the weird part, a picture came through first. Now, if you tell somebody to FaceTime you and they send you a picture of your kid, wait a minute, are you serious? There's no way you just sent me a picture. Once you send that other message, that's it. That's all I needed. I'm on my way. And then all of a sudden, your son hits you up in less than maybe, 30 seconds? Not even a full minute. It was under a minute. Next thing you know, he gets on the phone and he like, hey, Dad, you know your kid. So I'm looking at my son. And as I'm looking at him, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? He said, hey, Dad. But he's looking over. Once he did the look over, I'm sorry. I lost it. I did. And it made my son cry. I was wrong. But at the same time, my son knows his dad, and he knows when Dad is going to go all the way there. Once I looked at him and said, what are you looking at? And he looked, he said, not Dad, I'm okay. When you start talking like that, and you don't never talk like that, my son is on the up. Like he's hyped. And I seen that something's off. First thing I said to him, are you okay? Did anybody mess with you? And when he said, no, Dad, I'm good. But when he looked over again, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. This is called understanding the surroundings and understanding what is going on. And I seen right then and there, I stopped him and said, hey, don't look over no more. I don't care what anybody's saying to you. And I guess from my voice, he broke down and cried. As soon as he broke down and cried, I was furious. I said, what happened to you? Did something happen? Shake your head. And I shouldn't have talked like that. But he knew right away. Yo. And then who voice pops in but don't show that face? The mom. Don't see her. Hear her voice. You scaring them. And of course I had words. Went off. In the midst of being there, I already sent police to the home to do a welfare check. Listen to me, guys. Don't be dumb and think that you're going to be able to make it there before the police. You won't. Send a welfare check because you don't know what's going on. And if I did not do that, I would not most likely have her pick the phone up. Or should I say have my son hit me back. Doing that welfare check, they got to operate. They have to. But then after that, say for instance that they don't answer the door, but you see the vehicles there, they will let me know because they called me back. That's when you got to take the initiative to say, all right, now it's time for me to go. And then if it's time for you to go, that's when you know that you might not be able to come back from that. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. And ladies, stay out of this. This is the part where ladies need to shut up. I mean it. This is the part where y'all need to shut up. This is when men's business gets handled a certain way. I'm not violent. But this is the problem with life. Once women start to be manipulative, they tell the dude one thing. Here, the father of their child, which they're getting a voice from, starts to hear certain things from her. But she's saying that this person is a bum and don't do anything and don't help them out. But you sitting there like my words, like, yo, I don't need to hear that. I got nothing to do with that. Your job is, as a guy, take care of your kid. Not just financially, picking them up and spending time with them like I do. My son is with me half the week, half there, half with me. I don't miss. My son don't know anything different from not seeing dad. My son does not know anything except daddy's here. No ifs, ands, or buts. Rain, sleet, and slow. You know what I mean? Hurricane. I ain't gonna say hurricane. Tornado, nothing like that. But I'm just saying, he knows. And he knows he can call me anytime. When he's with me, we rock out, we have fun, we have a bunch of fun. But what happens is we get to a point where, as though, this is where co-parenting starts to turn and become violent. It's not to think of it just becomes violent. It becomes violent because when you got a significant other that you're no longer with no more, and she has somebody, he feels like the savior, not understanding he's the dummy, the crash dummy. Now, don't get it twisted. Sometimes the father can be the crash dummy. Sometimes the father can be overstepping his boundaries. I don't ever step on boundaries. When you allow a person to go ahead and live that life, you don't bother them. You don't affect them. Like, you don't bother them at all. But when you get to a point when the person that they with, that they're going to bring up, like try to insert rank, that's when you messed up. You can't go backwards from that. Only way you can go backwards from that is you stay out of sight. And you know what happens when you're out of sight? You're out of sight, out of mind. You can't justify a crash out in most cases when nobody bothers you. And you know what happens when people think they're the bully? They end up suffering the repercussions of finding out the hard way. That's why a lot of times, man, it's good to have conflict resolution. But then it does come a time where as though you can't resolve the issue because somebody feel like they're doing their daily duties, which saying the wrong. But sometimes in their brain, they never understand that they're wrong till they get straightened out. I see more and more domestic situations that happen out here with couples. And I think it's messed up. Don't condone it. But just because I don't do it, does not mean when you leave somebody that they start going through it. And now they going through it, even though they ain't go through it with you. But for some odd reason, the person that don't abuse them, they think they can play with them until they find out they can't play with that person. They just never choked them out because that's not their character. But there ain't no punching bag. But then you go to the other side of the field, mess with somebody, and then all of a sudden you find out the hard way that damn, this ain't what I signed up for. I should have stayed where I was at. Too late. Once people go so far, it's going. Love is going. The love is going. Love is going. The love is lost. You can't get that back. People think you get it back, especially with men. When men want to move on, we move on. But at the same time, you still are a father. This is why you're seeing so much chaoticness out here. When they start having laws being more balanced out here, you're going to start to see a lot of men start to take women to court start to feel comfortable calling the cops on the female or doing their things that they have to do in the background in order to get their kids. Because this system of how people play today when it comes to co-parenting is a damn joke. It's a joke. It runs rampant of thinking that you ownership. One person has ownership. No one has ownership. It's a shared ownership of teaching your child. But we at a point now where as though you're starting to see too many things being done out here. You're seeing women posting stuff on social media. My baby daddy horrible. And you got women jumping on. Damn, mine's horrible too. They just talking bad, just talking reckless. Men and women can't go up against each other for fighting because men gonna win. So what happens? You got the court system to say, hey, don't do nothing to her. I'm gonna make sure we lock you up. So when two men get into it, anything can happen. You still go to jail too. That's if somebody don't make it. And now you're trying to fight a case. But then you also have some men that say, I wash my hands of this. I don't want nothing of it. That's her child now, not mine. Well, that's easy said. If you wasn't already operating from a good parenting aspect of getting your child and doing stuff with your kid, whereas though your kid can't stop thinking about you, they just pick the phone up. Hey, Dad, you can't break that off. You know why? You already got the time in. You got time in from when they was an infant. When they came out the womb, they seen you. You was holding them. You was binding with them. Not only you was binding with them, you had them on your chest. When you had them on your chest, I don't know what they call it. I don't give a damn what they call it, but it's damn sure bonding time because he recognizes your voice, and next thing you know, that little infant just shaking, and you just hear the cry, and then all of a sudden the cry turns into just little noise, but they kind of like going to sleep because they just came out of the wound, but you holding them, and they only like damn near this small. Like, oh my God, it's beautiful. So you can't turn that on and off. This is why you do have some fathers. I don't blame them. Sometimes peace is better than anything. But once you become a father that's fully active and you've been with your child since they came out of the womb up to their age of where they at now, if your child is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, and you've been in that whole time, they know nothing no different. You can't walk away. You know why? You already attached to them. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Something happened with your kid, you jumping off the bridge. You don't give a damn what you land on, but you going. You going to make somebody pay when somebody does something to your child. Well, we live in a world now where as though you're seeing so much talk about deadbeats. But the problem is, ain't nobody dumb. We know it's not that many deadbeats. We also understand how things are set up. Things are set up for women to run things. This is why the economy is jacked up right now. They done had nothing but a bunch of boss babes running through, having a bunch of kids. You've seen a lot of women having a lot of kids today. But if they got money, oh, they doing that thing. They promote them well. But let them not have money. All of a sudden, the father a deadbeat. But you had a kid by somebody that was a dope boy that got locked up. Then when he got locked up, he came home to nothing. So now he's a bum. Only reason why he's a bum because he can't hustle the same way like he used to. We're in 2026 now. You can't do the same stuff you used to do 5, 6, 7 years ago. We got surveillance. We got cameras everywhere. We got people telling. And there's nothing wrong with people telling. The problem is people are telling. And for some odd reason, the ignorant part of the brain got people saying, yo, why you snitching? People trying to take care of their family. Shut up. This is the problem. This is the thing that killed the community. When you started having more dudes out here on the block and they not operating from a sense of protection, they end up getting their whole family taken out. We seen it. We seen dudes that had their girlfriends, wives, sons, daughters, kidnapped, killed. We all seen the thing paid in full. That came from teenagers. That was his little brother on paid in full that got taken by his uncle. Why? Because he's making millions of dollars at the age of what, 14, 15, 16 they was? Had that run? It seemed long, but it's short. And then they find the little boy body remains somewhere else, but find his finger in the bathroom. This is the ramifications of hustling and doing things out here where as though people look at you as a lick. Even your own family. You cannot take advice from people that don't give clear examples of how to move. If people don't give you a clear example of how to move out here, you're going to move in the wrong direction. You're going to move in a way of where as though it's going to put you in a bad position. And sometimes when you move in a bad position, sometimes that means somebody might have put you in that bad position. Everybody ain't made to live long out here. Everybody ain't scared of life. But I can tell you what, you can walk away from a lot of things in life. A lot. You can walk away from a lot of things in life. You can walk away. Just get up one day and say, yo, I'm over this goddamn relationship. I can't stand her. But I tell you what you can't walk away from. When you become a parent, or should I say a father, I can only speak from a father's perspective. Because fathers do operate different from mothers. I'm sorry, they do. I know people like to uphold mothers at a standard, but then you find out fathers are up there high as hell. It's just that it's promoted different to make women feel more empowered. When a father feel like he about to go to the end because it's to protect his child, that's war. And a lot of times war ends in violence and people not able to make it back home. You think I'm lying? Turn the news on every morning. You'll find out. Like and subscribe.